This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. We are here with regular council meeting. We'll do quick introductions and then I will let you know how we're going to run it down as per usual. With us this morning, we have Councillor Janine Boulanger.
Morning.
Councillor Shane Pelletier.
Good morning.
Councillor Ron Mamchuk.
Good morning.
Councillor Curtis Clayton.
Morning, everyone.
Our CEO, Mitch Duval.
Good morning. May the 4th be with you.
I was waiting for it. And in the background, we have our planning officer, Tanya Waddell.
Good morning.
And myself, Mayor Chris Ewan. So the way it works, as what we've been doing during the pandemic online, is council will go through the agenda, and when it's time to vote, they will cast their vote online in our system, and then the CEO will be reading out loud which way the vote went. So we will start with item number 1, meeting called to order. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Mamchuk.
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Clayton.
Thank you. Councillor Clayton. Any additions or comments? Please cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. Item number 2, so I'll open the meeting at 9:02 a.m. Thank you, Mr. CEO. Item 2, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Pelletier.
Councillor Pelletier, second by Councillor Boulanger. Thank you. Any comments, additions, changes to the agenda, council?
Not here.
Not here.
Please cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. Item 3, adoption of the minutes. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Mamchuk.
Second.
Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you.
We have 2 meetings minutes. The first one is April 20th regarding a special meeting in council to deal with bylaw 3-2021 regarding the waste levy. At which point we entered the evening with about 9 objections to the waste levy after the presentation. And the next day, I believe 5 or 6 withdrew. We still had 3 that remained in objection. So those people who objected were sent a letter the next day regarding the follow-up procedures with the municipal board. So we will await the answer from the municipal board. Then the very next evening, we also had the regular council meeting on April 21st, whereby council dealt with 2 variations, 1 conditional use, 3 subdivisions, 1 bylaw appeal order, as well as they dealt with a public works purchase of the motor grader. There will be an amendment to that resolution on today's agenda, as well as COVID relief funds for the 2 daycares in the Armor Reach Hub.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Is there any comments or questions about the minutes?
Not here.
I have a question about, you said that the municipal board has it. Is that, what does that mean? Does it take time, or is the bylaw, or is it, it's not a bylaw, sorry. The order is canceled, but do we have to do anything or waiting on anything for that?
Yes, it's basically a waiting game right now. So as a result of the 3 objections, so as I stated, the notifications were sent to them. They have 30 days to make an appeal to the municipal board. So that brings us to May 21st, and thereby afterwards, the municipal board will consider those objections and make their decision from there. It is my estimate that they will proceed as in favor for the bylaw.
The bylaw, yes. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments about the minutes? Seeing none, please cast your vote.
The resolution is carried 5-0.
Thank you. Item 4.1, accounts paid to be approved. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Clayton.
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Belanger.
Thank you.
One batch, 14,824, total of about 40,000. The CFO did not provide any comments just because of the amounts in the batch. I'll give you a quick verbal report. So there was $6,000 there from Star Building Materials. That will be recovered from the Seine River Minor Ball. That's an in and out. We had a $6,000 Visa bill, so that also will get paid. And the largest vendor is $12,000 for glacial aggregates on behalf of the Public Works Department. Other than that, nothing else to report.
Thank you. Is there any comments or questions regarding this?
Not here.
Not here.
Council, please cast your vote.
Your worship, yours did not come in.
I'm in favor.
Thank you. The vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. Moving on to item 4.2, accounts not paid to be approved. Do I have a mover?
Counselor Mamchuk.
Second.
Councillor Pelletier.
You. Sorry, I'm lagging really bad here on the AllNet. Go ahead, Mr. CEO.
Alrighty, two batches, 14,848, total for $142. The second one is the big one, batch 14,849, total of about 120,000. The CFO's report is there for your review. Basically, it's two invoices, one for Keyway truck, which is about $11,000, and that's a portable tank. That is, they've incorporated into the mini rescue. It helps with grass fires and stuff like that. The other big one is CRA Revenue Canada for 53,000. Those are remittances on behalf of payroll.
Thank you. Is there any questions from council?
Not here.
Not here.
Okay, cast your vote, please. Mr. Sale, I accidentally already voted. That's what I screwed up on last time, so I'm in favor.
Thank you. That vote is carried 5-0.
Moving on to 4.2.1, council indemnities. Do I have a mover?
Councillor
Councillor Clayton.
Belanger.
Councillor Clayton moves it, second by Councillor Belanger.
These are the council indemnities for the month of April. Month of April hours looks like it ranges from 19 to 26 hours. I have no concerns.
Perfect. Any questions or comments from council? I see it's getting a little bit busier, but still consistent. No other comments? Cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. Item 4.3, payroll to be approved. Do I have a mover?
Counselor Mamchuk.
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you.
This is in regard to payroll 9, which basically is between April 11th to April 24th. There are some overtime being banked and as well as used up. What I will try to provide for council for the next regular council meeting is a status of the total bank hours per employee. We do have a policy that I believe it is an employee could bank up to 40 hours. So I just want to make sure that we're not exceeding those thresholds. Otherwise, things are getting busy for spring and we're keep plugging away. So no concerns on my part.
Thank you. Any comments from council?
It was like the CAO was in a mind meld with me. I was just going to ask about totals on bank hours.
Wow, he's good. He's good. Okay, council, please cast your vote.
That vote is carried 5-0.
Item 5.1, bylaw 6-2021, amend zoning bylaw 9/2019, southeast 4-9-4 east from AAG to CG, first reading. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Pelletier.
You second.
Counselor
Counselor Clayton.
Mamchuk,
Councillor Clayton takes it.
All right, this is basically a rezoning amendment for our zoning bylaw. It is property located just north of 405, basically right across where there's some hydro substation, for lack of better words. The intent is to rezone this from agricultural to commercial general for a proposed Bitcoin operation.
Thank you very much. I'll open up for council discussion. Anything from council? Seeing
Nothing here.
no, seeing none, please cast your vote.
That vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you very much. Item 5.2, bylaw 2-2021, MBEA enabling bylaw, first reading. Do I have a mover?
Counselor Mamchuk,
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Belanger.
Thank you.
So we've been working on this for quite a while with legal as well. So this is the Municipal Bylaw Enforcement Act. This will enable us to set fines and ticket. The bylaw refers to administrative penalties. For lack of better words, it's issuing tickets. Just to go through the bylaw quickly, we'll touch more about it in further details at the next planning meeting. But it is the Municipal Bylaw Enforcement Act for administrative penalties of contraventions of municipal bylaws. There's a penalty scheme which basically lists the penalties involved for each of the bylaws. On part one is basically just your definitions and all of that, those good terms that were used throughout the bylaw. Part two are to deal with the two schedules. Schedule A are the designated bylaws. So this ticketing process will affect 8 bylaws that we have currently on the books. And those are the ones that administration would like to focus on and deal with as we move forward. And those are listed on the back pages. Schedule B deals with each of the possible fines within each of the bylaws. So there's 8 bylaws and there might be 4 or 5 different ticketing option fines. The biggest one is the parking, which will have a whole slew of different costs. For the parking, just as an FYI, we've kind of looked at the town of Niverville and what they've been working with moving forward. So the fines will range anywhere between $70 to $200. Part of it is that there's a discount if you pay within the 14 days and you make no request for a screening officer, then that fine is reduced by 50%. So a minor incident or minor parking fine would be $35 if you pay within the 14 days. Just moving forward, there'll be a screening officer in play that will need to iron out the details and hire. But all in all, the bylaw will give municipalities more teeth for enforcement. I do hope that we could talk to the commissioners for the enforcement of these bylaws. However, I would like to have an education process prior to starting fining people. I know that we've had a couple of parking incidences already. Just waiting for this bylaw to come into play, and then we'll be able to move ahead accordingly. So without further ado, I'm not going to go into further details, so I'll open it up to council.
Thank you. I'll open up for council discussion. Council, do you have anything to add, comment on, discuss?
I'd like to, and maybe this is covered, I just don't see it. I understand the fines and we want people to be abiding by the bylaws. But you know, people, what I hear going on is, we've been living here for 50 years and never had to worry about this. So is there gonna be like you said kind of a education period, but is it possible to tell the bylaw officer or whoever that the first offense is a warning? Can we do a warning system first and then after that they've got no excuse because then they know?
Absolutely. It's just a matter of trying to educate the people saying now, yes, we can fine you. We don't
Mhm.
want to, but if you give us no choice, we will have to.
Okay, because I'd hate to just start charging people and they, you know, yes, they're going against the bylaw, but a lot of people might not even know that they're going against the bylaw until they're educated on it. So that's what I'd like to see. Thanks.
A good comment. I appreciate that. Any other comments from council?
Are we going to be releasing this now that we're first readings in the books? Or once first readings in the books?
Correct, Councillor Pelletier. Once first reading is in the books, then it becomes public knowledge. People will have a chance to comment accordingly before moving to second and third reading.
The only thing I have to say is good that we want to communicate to this public first before we start issuing tickets. I think that'd be a very good idea.
No, that's fair. Anything else?
Not here.
That's
No.
it at this time.
Thank you. Council, please cast your vote. Lost it.
Yeah, that's it too.
There we go.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. Item 6.1.1, amendment to resolution 2021-0131, binary code. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Belanger.
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Clayton.
Councillor Clayton takes it.
As discussed at the Public Works meeting, we did authorize the purchase of a motor grader for the Public Works. However, it was communicated to us that in regards to the exchange of the wings and the quick attach assemblies, that our original resolution dealt with a total purchase price of $261,812. This is good news for council and the municipality. The new resolution to be amended will reflect $247,976. So basically a $13,800 saving.
Perfect. Any questions from council?
Not here.
Okay. Council, please cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. 6.2.1, waiving utility fees due to COVID-19. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Mamchuk.
Second.
Councillor Pelletier.
Go ahead, Mr. Steele.
Okay. In regards to the penalty fees right now for the utilities, we are still enwrapped in this pandemic. It is administration's recommendation to waive penalty fees. They are not very big in nature. It's about $200, and I think I made a quick calculation somewhere to find a piece of paper, which it basically represents about $1,800 for a full year for all of the utilities combined. So it's not a big dollar amount, but still significant enough that we need to address it, and more of an administrative procedure to waive the penalties.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. I think it's a great idea. Does council have any thoughts on this?
Not here. I think it's a good idea.
Autopac is doing the same thing, by the way.
Mhm.
Speaking
Nice.
from personal experience.
So I don't have to pay my grossly exorbitant amount of licensing, Janine, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, not on time. You can be late.
Perfect. Okay, council, please cast your vote.
The vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. Item 6.2.2 AMBM 2020 to 2021 contribution. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Clayton.
Councillor Clayton moves, second by Councillor Pelletier.
Yep.
Thank you.
Again, on a yearly basis, the IMBM, l'Association des municipalités bilingues du Manitoba, have funds available to the RM for the purpose of delivering services en français. That sum is $7,500. They require a resolution of council to make the ask.
Thank you, council. Open up for discussion. Any comments, questions on this?
It's just the same as it is every year. It's kind of like a standing grant every year.
It is.
Yeah.
And what typically do we put this funding towards?
Usually what we do is either flip it over to economic development so that they could help businesses with bilingual signs, or even there's some costs that are involved for translation services as well. Whenever we do something, even the COVID signs, if we have when we do translate them, there's costs in that and extra printing. So there's a little bit of extra cost in being able to provide bilingual services out there.
Sure. Sounds good.
Perfect. Okay, council, please cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. 6.2.3, I see it's for information only. Mr. CEO, do I still read it out?
No, that is correct. Just wanted to bring to council's attention that as a result of the provincial mandatory code of conduct after elections for council, elected council members and heads of councils, pleased to report that as of May 1st, which was the deadline, all of our council members have successfully completed their online training. So thank you very much for your participation.
Awesome. Thank you, council.
Completed and passed.
Yes.
We all passed.
Honors.
By a hair. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, moving on to 6.2.4, office digital sign. Do I have a mover?
Councilor
Councillor
Blanco.
Mamchuk.
Thank you. Second by Councillor Mamchuk.
Okay, administration, mostly I would like to put up a digital sign at the front of the office here for communication purpose. Oftentimes we've had the black billboard signs on the ground that you had to put the lettering in, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's time that we move ahead with a digitized process. I reached out to 4 suppliers or companies that could be able to provide that service. Of the 4, I did narrow it down to 2. I did make a summary for council that I've shared, but my recommendation would be to go with post-time signs at the estimated cost of about $53,900. I have worked with them in the past in other projects, other municipalities. It was between them and another company, very close. I do wish to bring to council's attention that there may be a need, and this would have been equal on anybody who would be providing the service. We may be limited panel wise in the office basement as to hookup. So I'm hoping that we will be able to work around some of the breakers and electrical downstairs to make this happen. But regardless who we go with, it would have been the same problem for both, all four. Any questions?
Yeah, any questions from council?
No,
It definitely, I think it's needed. It's, sorry, Councillor Belanger, go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to say, I think it was a well done process, Mr. CAO. I appreciate the 4 quotes and the breakdown. So it was very thorough and fair, and yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, council, please cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. Item 6.2.5, purchase of public reserve land, Valley Fiber. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Clayton.
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Mamchuk.
Thank you.
All right. Both legal for Valley Fiber and the municipality have reviewed the proposed sales contract. This is a small portion of land located near the fire hall in St. Agath. There is still the subdivision process to go through, but at least the sales agreement would be in place moving forward. It'd be one less check on the things to do list. So there's still the subdivision process to go through, as well as a public hearing as a result, because the land that we built the fire hall on and that the municipality owns is deemed as public reserve. It's not as simple as just doing a subdivision, taking a chunk out of it and moving forward. Because it's public reserve, we also have to have a public hearing by which we give public notice, and then also need ministerial approval sign off thereafter. And all that is laid out in the sales agreement. Valley Fiber is aware of the process and they're okay with that.
Perfect. Thank you. Any comments from council?
I just wanted to thank our CAO for all of his hard work and everyone else's work on this project. This is an important next step in improving the connectivity in St. Agath and possibly elsewhere in the RM. So just yeah, thanks for everyone's effort. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I echo that, Councillor Clayton. Thank you for saying that. Okay, council, please cast your vote.
The vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. Moving on, there's correspondence and information for council, and we will move to adjournment. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Mamchuk.
Thank you. Second.
Mr. Pelletier.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll get you to cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. I'll close the meeting at 9:29 a.m. Please stop recording. Good morning and good